Hello, today we'll be discussing remaining causes of ocean currents. We'll be discussing fourth cause, that is rotation of the earth. Rotation of the earth. As we know, earth rotates on an axis from west to east. West to east. So earth rotation from west to east. It causes the equatorial current, that is on the equator. It causes equatorial current, north equatorial current and south equatorial current to flow from east to west. This is the earth, this is our equator. So earth rotates from west to east. This is the rotation of the earth. Now this is the north equatorial current. It moves from east to west. As the earth rotates, water moves from east to west. This is north equatorial current. It is south equatorial current. Now second, earth's rotation causes an apparent deflection, and this is called as Coriolis effect. This is the earth equator we have. Now as you have studied, because of earth rotation from west to east in northern hemisphere, the fluids, that is water or the winds, they get deflected towards the right to their general direction. So therefore, for example, this is north equatorial current. It is northern hemisphere, it will be deflected towards right. So it will be clockwise direction. Deflection will be in clockwise direction. Similarly, this is north equatorial current. In southern hemisphere, the reflection will be towards left. Therefore, it get deflected towards left and it will be anti-clockwise. Here we have the clockwise. So earth causes an apparent deflection, Coriolis effect, and this deflection is clockwise in northern hemisphere and anti-clockwise in southern hemisphere, and deflection which is clockwise in northern hemisphere and anti-clockwise in southern hemisphere. Now the last point, that is equatorial currents. As these currents move towards the west, there is piling of water in the west. Here we have the landmass and water get piled here. So the equatorial currents which are north equatorial current and south equatorial currents lead to the piling of water in the western part, water in the western part of the ocean basin. So water get, if this is land here, water get piled here in this part of the ocean basin, and a part of this water and a part of this water. moves back, moves back. So a part is deflected in clockwise direction, other in anti-clockwise direction, and a part of it moves back from west to east near the equator in the form of counter-equatorial current. Counter-equatorial current, that is counter-equatorial current. So a part of it moves back, and this is called as counter-equatorial current. So a part of it get deflected in northern hemisphere in clockwise direction and other in southern hemisphere in anti-clockwise direction, and a part of it moves back from west to east in opposite direction. Last, that is fifth factor which causes the ocean currents. Fifth one, configuration of coastlines. Configuration of coastlines. Now this factor does not help in generation of the ocean currents, but they modify the ocean currents. They influence the ocean current, that is direction and movement of ocean currents. So nature and shape of the ocean, shape of the sea coast do not help the generation of ocean currents, but they modify the already existing ocean currents. The nature and shape of the sea coast do not help in generation of the ocean current, but they change the direction. They may modify the existing ocean currents. Here bottom topography as well, they influence, like bottom topography, such as ridges or sea mounts, etc. They as well modify the already existing ocean currents, modify the existing ocean currents. As we can see here in the Atlantic Ocean, North Equatorial Current, it is known as Gulf Stream here. So it's a warm current. It is moving from equatorial region towards the colder region. So it will have less density. It will be less dense. So it will move as a surface current. But Labrador, it is moving from colder region towards the warmer region. So its density is more. Here the water density is more as compared to the warmer region. So therefore it will move as a subsurface current. Similarly here, Kuroshio, this current is warm current, so it will move as a surface current, whereas Oyashio, this current will move as a subsurface current because density is more, so it will move beneath the surface. Now we'll be discussing ocean currents. Ocean currents. So first we'll move to Atlantic Ocean. So we'll be discussing currents of Atlantic Ocean. Currents of Atlantic Ocean. So we start with equatorial currents. Here we'll be discussing two equatorial currents. First in the northern hemisphere, that is north equatorial current. Other in the southern hemisphere, south equatorial current. So we'll be discussing first north equatorial current. It is in northern hemisphere. Second one, south equatorial current. It is in southern hemisphere. Here we can see land on both the side, and here is the sea. This is the sea, and here you can see north equatorial current. It is in the northern hemisphere. Here this is the equator, and this is the north equatorial current flowing in the northern hemisphere. Similarly, opposite to it, there is south equatorial current flowing in the southern hemisphere. So we are having north equatorial current and south equatorial current. They are flowing westward. They are flowing from east to west. They are flowing westward in westward direction. And how they are able to derive the energy? How their movement derives the energy? They are deriving energy from mainly from the trade winds. Here, as we know, from subtropical high pressure belt, the wind flows from subtropical high pressure belt towards the equatorial belt. Low pressure at equator. Low equatorial pressure belt. These winds flow from northeast. So these are called as northeast trade winds. In northern hemisphere, these are the northeast trade winds. They are originating in the northeast. Thus, we call these winds as northeast trade winds. Due to rotation of the earth, Coriolis effect comes into existence. So there is a Coriolis force acting on these winds, and now because of these winds, because of the frictional drag of these winds, this ocean water will flow right to the direction of the wind. So they flow westward. Similarly, in southern hemisphere, these trade winds are originating from southwest. These are called as southwest trade winds. And now, due to frictional drag, water moves. Now, this water will move towards the left of the direction of the wind. So they move westward. So we are having north equatorial current in the northern hemisphere and south equatorial current in the southern hemisphere. And now see here, as land is there, as there is eastern coast of the land, as water flows towards the eastern coast of the land, water get piled here. Now, because of this piling of water, some water moves back. It traces back, and this water moves back as a equatorial counter current. Here, trade winds are very weak, so there is no resistance to the flow. So the equatorial counter current flows back, that is, it flows eastward. North equatorial current, and south equatorial current, they flows westward. But equatorial counter current, it flows eastward. Always remember one thing: this is the eastern coast of the land, whereas western coast of the ocean, or the western boundary of the ocean. Similarly, here, this is the western coast of the land, but eastern boundary or eastern coast of the sea, eastern coast of the ocean. You can as well draw east, west, north, south. So for the ocean, this will be the eastern coast and this will be the western coast. But for the land, this will be the western coast, and for this land, this will be the eastern coast. Second current we'll be discussing is Gulf Stream current. So we'll be discussing Gulf Stream. It is a warm current, as it is flowing from warmer region towards the colder region. And the water it carries is warm as compared to the surrounding water where it is moving. So it is a warm current. So here, as we see in the North Atlantic Ocean, this is the North Atlantic Ocean, and this is the western boundary of the North Atlantic Ocean. Now here, the largest ocean current, that is Gulf Stream, is the largest ocean current among all other currents. Now this Gulf Stream, it originates in the Gulf of Mexico, and it moves northeasterly. Northeasterly along the east coast of North America. Now always remember one thing: the warm currents, they do not contain much nutrients. They lack nutrients and they are incapable of supporting the life. So here at 20 degrees north, this Gulf Stream originates. Now as it moves further, as it reaches 30° north, as it reaches 30° north latitude, it comes under the influence of westerlies. Now after 30° north, after 30° north latitude, it comes under the westerlies, influence of westerlies. The west. Now as the Gulf Stream originates around 20° north latitude, and now as it is moving towards the 30° north latitude, they come under the influence of westerlies, and now these westerlies make them to move towards the western coast of Europe up to 70° north. And here this current is termed as North Atlantic Drift. It is a warm current, therefore it moderates the climate of the Western Europe, so that the winters here are less cold as compared to the winters when there would have been no Atlantic drift. Thus, North Atlantic Drift is the reason due to which here the winters are less severe as compared to the same latitude, that is in Canada. And here you can see one more current, that is Labrador current. It is a cold current. It is moving from cold region towards the warmer waters. So this is a cold current. Labrador current is a cold current. It originates in the Baffin Bay. It moves in the Davis Strait and moves near the Newfoundland. It meets the Gulf Stream. Here this Labrador current merges the Gulf Stream. And when a cold current and a warm current meets, when they merge, it results in heavy fog. So the convergence of cold current, that is the Labrador current and the Gulf Stream near the Newfoundland, it results in heavy fog. This region where near the Newfoundland, where the Labrador current meets the Gulf Stream, they merge here and they form a very conducive ground. They form a very conducive ground for the growth of the planktons, or which the fish feed. So these are one of the best fishing ground of the world near the Newfoundland. So mainly wherever the cold current and a warm current meets leads to the formation of great fishing grounds. Now we'll be discussing other currents. See here, North Equatorial current started, we have the Caribbean current, now here the Gulf Stream. It, due to westerlies, it moves towards the Western Europe, and here the North Atlantic Drift. We are having cold Labrador current, it meets the Gulf Stream near the Newfoundland. Now a part of water is drifted this way, and here as it moves from colder regions towards the warmer region, this becomes a cold current. It is called as Canaries current, and a part of it again moves back in the North Equatorial current. So a circle is formed, and this we call as gyres. This flow along the periphery of the ocean basin, we call it as gyres. Gyres are formed. So there are total 5 gyres. Now in the South Atlantic Ocean, we can see South Equatorial current, then it is the Brazil current, and it is a warm current. A current is moving towards Brazil, that is the Falkland current. And here we have the West Wind Drift, or South Atlantic Drift we call it. West Wind Drift, a part of it moves towards the western coast of Africa, and here we have the Venezuela current. And this current, Venezuela current, is a cold current. Now we'll be discussing ocean currents of Pacific Ocean, that is North Pacific Ocean, this part, and the South Pacific Ocean, this part. So we start with Kuroshio current. So Kuroshio current, how it is formed? So we have the North Equatorial current, same as that in Atlantic Ocean we had. So we have the North Equatorial current, and now here we have the Philippines Islands. A North Equatorial current, it is obstructed from these Philippine Islands, so it get drifted in this direction, and we have the formation of Kuroshio current. So obstruction because of these Philippines Islands, and partly because of Coriolis effect, Kuroshio current develops. Kuroshio current develops. Now this Kuroshio current is a warm current. Thus this Kuroshio current, being a warm current, it keeps the eastern coast of Japan warmer in winters. Now see here, for example, in winters in Jan, there is a frequent snow in Honshu and Hokkaido Islands, and because of this Kuroshio current, the coastal areas, they are warmer. The eastern coast is warmer because of this Kuroshio current. And now see here, a part of this Kuroshio current, it enters the Sea of Japan, It enters the Sea of Japan, and here this current is known as Tsushima current. Tsushima current. And this Tsushima current is responsible for keeping the western coast of Japan warmer. So here now we'll be discussing one more current, Oyashio current. It is a cold current. It is also called as Kuril current. It originates in the Bering Strait. It moves along the eastern coast of Kamchatka Peninsula. It moves southwardly and touches the Kamchatka Peninsula, then the Kuril Islands, and that's why it is also called as Kuril current. And it carries the cold water and icebergs from the Arctic Ocean to the coast of Kuril and the Hokkaido Island of the Japan. And see here the Kuroshio current and Oyashio current, they meets. Therefore, wherever a warm current and a cold current meet, it leads to a formation of heavy fog and formation of great fishing grounds. Oyashio being cold current, it have extremely high nutrient content, and thus when it meets the Kuroshio current here, it forms one of the best fishing ground. This Oyashio current as well have the impact on the climate of Far East. This Oyashio current have the impact on climate of Far East, Russia, Kamchatka Peninsula, Kuril Island and the Japan.